Man, listen to me. Stevie J was in the car with us when Big got murdered, brother.
And he indulgent with Diddy like that, and now he's invited to the Diddy parties. In that whole thing, if you read it, he said that Diddy said he was having sexual relationship with Stevie J.
I would actually have a Diddy party and invite everybody to the Diddy party and get on the mic if I was him and be like, yo, I never want to see you as ever a kid type.
Stevie J, Diddy's close friend and Grammy-winning music producer, is reportedly losing it as Gene Deal continues to expose him like never before. Gene Deal has spilled the beans about Stevie J being involved with Diddy at his parties, and it doesn't look good for Stevie J's reputation.
If he said, Puff said that he laid down with Stevie J, and two men lay down, two homos get up.
For years, Diddy's name has been floating around in pretty shady rumors, everything from secret parties and odd behavior to lawsuit after lawsuit. But now, it's all hitting the fan. Over 100 lawsuits have piled up against him.
Stevie J, he was with you the night Big got killed, right?
Yeah, Stevie J was there.
Some are about money, but others are way more serious. Teaking and racketeering. And here's where it gets even messier. His former bodyguard, Gene Deal, is spilling everything in interviews. This guy claims he saw it all go down, and he's not holding back. One of the names he's calling out? Stevie J. From the beginning, Gene Deal has been speaking up about what he witnessed at Diddy's parties. But this latest info has really shocked fans. Why? Because no one expected Stevie J's name to come up. Gene has been sharing his side of the story in interviews on shows like The Art of Dialogue, revealing some pretty crazy things he saw while working with Diddy. According to him, those parties weren't just about having fun, they were wild and out of control. Gene says Stevie wasn't just there to enjoy the party, he was involved in planning them, keeping guests entertained, and maybe even hiding what was really going on. He didn't say it directly, but the way he told the story made it pretty clear. Gene didn't just leave it at that. He went even further. He claimed that some of Diddy's parties had a mix of people who probably shouldn't have been there. We're talking young guests, big shot executives, celebrities, and even just regular folks. There were no phones allowed, no cameras, and everything was kept behind closed doors. But what really caught everyone off guard was when Gene mentioned that Diddy's own mother, Janice Combs, might have shown up to a few of those events. That's a hard one to process. He even dropped a line saying, "The freaks come out at night." On top of that, he said she was known for dating younger men. Sure, that's not against the law, but in this situation, it definitely raised some eyebrows.
He's saying that about his mother. Who describes any of their mother action like that in a way? And then, I don't know how many dudes do kiss their mother in their mouth when they 50, 60 years old or something like that.
This whole thing seems bigger than just Diddy now. Gene's stories are painting a much darker picture, one where even people close to Diddy, like Stevie J, might have played a role in something way more serious.
So I'm looking at his mother and him on the couch, and both of them are getting IVs after one of the Diddy parties.
Gene Deal's claims have further escalated the situation, and while Diddy is already in jail, things have taken a turn for Stevie J as well, and for all the wrong reasons. Let's go back to the night when notorious B.I.G. died in Los Angeles. After Biggie's passing, Diddy and Stevie J tried to clear the air, but Gene always felt like something didn't add up, and that's exactly what he exposed about Stevie.
He took that same chain that I sold him, brother, and gave it to Faith the night that Big died, talking about he was giving it to Lil Chris. He didn't even own the chain at the time. So I know Stevie J real well. He could play those games like he don't know me.
Gene Deal pointed out that Stevie J was in the car right behind Biggie's SUV when the rapper was shot in 1997. Gene didn't buy Stevie J's version of what happened that night. He called it far from ordinary, especially given the intense East Coast-West Coast rivalry that was going on at the time.
Man, listen to me. Stevie J was in the car with us when Big got brother.
Gene didn't hold back, accusing Stevie of pretending to be a gangster when he wasn't. He went on to say that both Stevie and Maya were warned by the Crips about a potential threat to Biggie and Diddy, but they kept quiet about it. If it's true, and Stevie had a chance to warn Biggie, but didn't, that's not just gossip, it's serious. It could mean he's got blood on his hands. You need to stop that, bro, Deal said. He talking to people who was in the streets that was gangsters, and I'm just giving him like a formal, chastising to somebody that once used to care about him. It's the bro.
I don't know when he became a gangster. He was talking all that gangster stuff and about 50 and what he'll do and how he was never that type of dude, bro, man. That's them drugs, man.
But that's not where Stevie J's involvement ends. The story goes way deeper. Gene Deal was exposed to something he heard years ago from a few music folks back in Harlem. He didn't say exactly who they were, just hinted that they're still active in the industry, doing their thing, maybe even working on public projects. During one of those behind-the-scenes conversations, someone mentioned a pretty disturbing story involving Diddy and Usher.
You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not gonna speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
At the time, Gene said he didn't even know who Usher was, but what he heard stuck with him.
At the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when people say, yo, man, I don't F with them niggas, man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent her to the hospital?
According to the story, Diddy allegedly did something so bad that it landed young Usher in the hospital. Gene was clear, though. He didn't see it happen himself. It was just something that was being said in the circle. Still, just hearing about it was enough to rattle him.
Puff and Usher did have a situation. And that situation led Usher to the hospital.
He also mentioned how people love to twist his words or say he's making stuff up. But he stood his ground, saying he only talks about what he's personally seen or heard, and he's not afraid to speak on it. He even shared a story about one of Diddy's wild parties, like people running out of rooms wrapped in towels while others stayed behind.
And me looking at this lawsuit, he also alleges that Diddy forced him to watch a video of Stevie J having with a man.
Who, Little Stevie? Huh? Who's Stevie? What Johnson used to call him, Stevie?
Gene also brought up the harassment lawsuit filed by Rodney, Lil Rod Jones against Diddy. In that lawsuit, an unnamed R&B singer was accused of taking part in an inappropriate group activity along with Diddy and other celebrities. Gene hinted that the mystery artist could be Usher. Gene went on to say that when Usher was at Diddy's Flavor Camp, he was allegedly exposed to inappropriate situations with older women. He shared one disturbing story about Usher and Diddy at the Swiss Hotel, claiming Usher kissed a woman right after she had been intimate with Diddy.
This kid admired Stevie J and loved the work Stevie J had done in the industry in the past.
Usher, for his part, brushed off the wild stories from his Flavor Camp days in a 2016 interview with Howard Stern. But now, with Gene's latest comments, people are once again taking a hard look at Diddy's behavior and how he influenced young artists like Usher. Even though Gene didn't say Stevie J's name directly, he mentioned other artists being involved, and many believed he was hinting at Stevie, given how close he was to Diddy and how involved he was in organizing those parties. Gene claims he heard all of this from music executives and insiders, people who apparently knew what really happened but chose to stay silent. Now he's the one bringing it to light. Whether it's 100% accurate or not, it definitely adds to a growing unsettling pattern. Did he allegedly target young artists? And then there's Stevie J. He was around back then, supposedly helping organize parties and keeping quiet through it all. However, Stevie, on the other hand, clapped back. While people might expect him to deny everything, or at least try to defend himself, Stevie pretty much shrugged it off. He told TMZ he's not about to waste his time or money on what Gene's saying.
Do with that, I'm just here to say that I've never seen my man doing anything foul like they talking about.
None of it. All of it. I mean, you know.
I've never seen it. I've known him for 29 years.
Stevie J said he has nothing to do with all the stuff people are saying about Diddy. He's like, whatever people do in private is their business, and he's never seen Diddy do anything bad in all the years he's known him. He says he's just speaking from what he knows. But instead of denying things calmly, Stevie started going after people like 50 Cent. He's upset that 50 keeps calling out Diddy and anyone connected to him. He even brought up some things people have said about 50, like how his exes claimed he hurt them, but no one's talking about that. Stevie also didn't like that 50 made a post about him. He fired back, saying if 50 doesn't want to fight or donate to a cause, then he should stop acting like a comedian and go make funny movies instead.
I don't know if y'all saw the post when 50 posted about me. Of course you guys seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, I mean, 50 has been going after Diddy and everybody associated with him for months now, ever since the Cassie lawsuit.
Yeah.
Out in public, Stevie's acting like everything's fine. He says Diddy's doing great, spending time with his kids and mom, working out, and should even throw a party when he gets out. But some people think Stevie's just putting on a brave face. Behind the scenes, they believe he's really worried. If Gene keeps talking, Stevie's name might end up pulled into all of this too. If more lawsuits keep coming in and people begin digging into who was really involved in those parties and who might have helped Diddy, Stevie J could end up in the spotlight next. He's also been throwing shade at Lil Rod, the guy who accused Diddy of hurting him. Stevie claimed that the person in one of the pictures from the lawsuit isn't even Lil Rod and mocked him, calling him broke. A few months ago, Lil Rod claimed that Diddy promised him a lot: fame, money, even a house on Star Island. It sounds like Diddy was trying to win him over. But many people wondered, if they didn't have some kind of relationship, why would Diddy offer all that?
He told him, this is somebody I admire. This is somebody you got high aspirations for, that you want to be like. Look and see what he doing.
Lil Rod lived in Diddy's house for about 13 months, and with all the parties, items, and crazy stuff going on, it was hard to believe nothing happened. In the lawsuit, Lil Rod said Diddy made him wear a bad boy hat, kind of like a signal, so others at the party would know he was the one to take home. That detail is actually written in the legal papers. He also claimed Diddy never paid him for his work. Apparently, he asked for $50,000, but Diddy only gave him $29,000, and Lil Rod wanted the rest plus the rights to his music. There was even a video online where Diddy is seen on a couch talking to someone, saying he's the boss and talking about Lil Rod's publishing. That video made things look even worse. Meanwhile, while addressing the issue, Stevie J is out here laughing it off like it's no big deal. But when someone jokes about serious stuff instead of answering properly, it usually means they're hiding something. On the other hand, Gene Deal is speaking out and sharing real details. People believe him because he was there and has nothing to lose. So here's the thing. With Gene Deal not out here trying to make a comeback or drop a book or anything, what he is doing is just sharing his side of the story, and the crazy thing is, a lot of what he's been saying is matching up with reports, court documents, and insider gossip. Like when he said Stevie J was involved in some shady stuff at Diddy's parties, people actually started paying attention. Now Stevie J, he's one of those guys who fell out of Puff's good books, you know? He started wanting what he was owed all along, and that's when things took a turn. There was this time when he couldn't even show his face around certain places. According to Gene Deal, after a bit of a break, when Love and Hip Hop came into the picture, Stevie started making a comeback. He showed up at an event with Mimi, and they ended up in her dressing room while she was getting her hair done. It seemed pretty laid back. During the event, Stevie made a call to Puff, and that's when things started to shift between them. Before that, they weren't even speaking to each other. It was a pretty dramatic turn of events. Now fast forward, and all these rumors are starting to surface about Stevie and Puff, with talk about possible relationships with other men. People are paying more attention now, especially as Hollywood starts to reveal different sides of people. Back when Stevie was around, no one would have thought anything like that, but things change when you're caught up in the Hollywood scene. And then it gets a little darker. Stevie's been keeping Diddy's secrets for a long time, but now those secrets are slowly starting to come out. It's not just Diddy being questioned anymore. People are looking at everyone who was close to him. One of the most alarming claims came from a lawsuit filed in December 2023. A woman using the name Jane Doe said Diddy's reach went way beyond just throwing wild parties. According to her, she was lured into what she thought was a professional networking event, but things quickly took a dark turn. She said the gathering felt more like a controlled setup than a casual event. Diddy's team, she claimed, kept a close eye on her and pushed her into doing things she never agreed to. When she resisted, she said they didn't take it lightly. Instead, she was hit with threats, warnings that her career and reputation would suffer if she didn't go along with what they wanted. Now people are starting to believe that Stevie J was involved in all of it. He was allegedly connected to every victim Diddy targeted. However, it seems like Stevie isn't afraid of any of the accusations. Recently, he was spotted out enjoying lunch. And nope, it wasn't a date like people assumed. The woman with him is actually his new artist, Miala Doche. And while she might turn heads with her looks, Stevie says they're working on something totally different, a rock and roll vibe, especially aimed at shaking things up for black audiences. Now when it comes to Diddy, Stevie has been one of the few who stood by him through all the lawsuits and drama. TMZ Hip Hop caught up with him in Beverly Hills this Monday, and he was full of energy, loud and clear about wanting Diddy to be free. Stevie told him he'd spoken to Diddy recently, and despite the upcoming trial in May, Diddy's apparently doing well and keeping his spirits up. As for whether Stevie plans to fire back legally at Rod, who's been coming after him, he laughed it off, saying he's not going to waste his time or money on someone he called a brokey. He didn't hold back on Diddy's lawyer either, Tony Busby, saying he thinks all this is part of a bigger plan to take Diddy down. But Stevie's confident it'll all blow over. He's already giving Diddy post-trial party advice. Throw a bash and tell everyone who doubted him. Stevie might have thought he was safe, but Gene Deal is out here turning over every stone, digging into things people thought were buried. If more people start sharing their side of the story, Stevie could find himself right in the middle of a legal mess, especially if it turns out he knew about the shady stuff or helped cover it up. If that happens, things could get really complicated for him. So where does all this leave Stevie J? Honestly, in a pretty tight spot. For the longest time, Stevie J seemed untouchable. He had the music career, the fame, the reality TV spotlight, and of course, a longtime friendship with Diddy. But now, with Gene Deal putting everything on the table, Stevie's name is getting dragged deeper into the mess. What once felt like rumors and whispers has started sounding more like receipts in reality. Gene isn't just throwing around wild accusations, he's giving names, dates, and details. And while Stevie is trying to play it cool, brushing everything off and cracking jokes, it's starting to feel like a nervous laugh more than real confidence. Because let's face it, when someone close to the action like Gene starts exposing what he saw behind the scenes, people are going to listen, especially when those stories line up with actual lawsuits and public records. The real twist? Stevie isn't just some random guy in the background. According to Gene, he was right there, helping with the parties, staying close to Diddy, and possibly knowing more than he's letting on. If Gene's stories keep gaining attention and others start speaking out, Stevie might not be able to laugh it off much longer. And while Stevie's out here calling people broke and going after 50 Cent instead of addressing the real accusations, it only adds to the suspicion. It's like he's trying to distract everyone instead of being upfront. Sure, he claims he never saw anything bad going on, but when so many others are saying otherwise, that defense starts to wear thin. At the end of the day, Gene Deal's revelations have opened up a can of worms. People are now looking beyond just Diddy and asking who else might have been part of the madness. Stevie J went from being a beloved producer and TV personality to someone fans are now second-guessing. And while he's still out there acting like nothing's wrong, the pressure is clearly building. If he really had nothing to hide, you'd think he'd just set the record straight. But the longer he dances around the real issues, the more people are starting to believe Gene might actually be telling the truth. And if more voices come forward confirming Gene's version of events, Stevie J could be next in line to face serious consequences. Bottom line, the game has changed, and Stevie J might need more than smooth talk and sarcasm to get out of this one. What do you guys think about it? Tell us in the comments below.